Hello and welcome. Today we embark on a remarkable journey, one that spans over 3.5 million years. From primitive hominids wandering the African savannahs, to modern humans, building civilizations, exploring space, and creating artificial intelligence. Let's explore how humanity evolved through 6 distinct epochs to reach where we are today. Imagine a world untouched by civilization. No roads, no buildings, no tools, at least not the kind we know today. Africa, particularly the eastern region, was home to a variety of wildlife, including big cats, massive herbivores, and dense forests opening into vast savannas. In this wild, dangerous world, early hominids, our distant ancestors, began to emerge. The climate was changing, and forests were shrinking. To survive, some primates adapted to walking upright. This was one of the most important developments in our evolutionary history. One of the earliest known human ancestors was Australopithecus afarensis. They lived around 3.5 million years ago and are best known thanks to a famous fossil named Lucy, discovered in 1974 in Ethiopia. Lucy and her kind were about 1 to 1.2 meters tall, with long arms and curved fingers, adapted for both walking and climbing trees. They had small brains, about 1/3 the size of modern humans, and no language as we know it. Yet, they were bipedal, meaning they walked on 2 feet. This ability to walk upright freed up their hands, allowing them to carry objects, gather food, and eventually, much later, make tools. A different kind of intelligence. Australopithecus didn't build tools like we do today, but they were clever. They used sharp stones to scrape meat off bones. They were constantly aware of danger. Life was not easy. They had no fire to cook food, no weapons to defend themselves, and no permanent shelter. But they had something powerful: adaptability. Their brains, though small, were wired for survival. They learned from watching, remembered where food could be found, and moved in small family groups. Over time, natural selection favored those who could think a little more, move a little faster, and learn a little better. Evolution at work. Human evolution is a slow process. From Australopithecus, many different species of early humans evolved. Some didn't survive. Others led directly to us: Homo habilis, Homo erectus, and eventually Homo sapiens. But 3.5 million years ago, all of that was in the future. At this stage, evolution was laying the foundation. The upright posture, the structure of the hand, the way the foot supported weight, all these physical traits were shaping the future of the species. Even though these early humans didn't think like we do, they were the start of something much greater. Daily life in the prehistoric world. So what did daily life look like 3.5 million years ago? There were no homes. People likely slept in trees or natural shelters like caves. They roamed constantly, searching for food, fruits, roots, insects, and small animals. Danger was everywhere: lions, leopards, snakes, and other predators. Children had to be protected. Cooperation within the group was essential. It's likely that these early humans used simple vocal sounds, gestures, and facial expressions to communicate. They had no concept of past or future, only the moment. What fossils tell us? Most of what we know about this time comes from fossilized bones and teeth, and from archaeological sites where bones were found near stone flakes or ancient footprints. For example, in Lutoli, Tanzania, scientists discovered footprints preserved in volcanic ash, showing that early hominins walked upright with a modern-like stride. Each fossil tells a tiny part of a massive story, from jawbones to pelvises, from foot arches to skull shapes. Scientists piece together the lives of beings who lived millions of years ago without ever leaving a written word. Trial, error, and survival. 3.5 million years ago was relentless. Injury meant death. A fall from a tree could end a life. If a predator attacked, there were no weapons to fight back. If a drought came, water sources dried up, and groups had to migrate or die. These harsh conditions forced early humans to adapt, both physically and mentally. Over many generations, groups that survived passed on their traits. This is how evolution works. Tiny changes over vast periods of time, shaping creatures into forms better suited for survival. Why this era matters? Some people might ask, why does it matter what happened 3.5 million years ago? Because without those early steps, we wouldn't be here today. Walking upright changed everything. It altered how our ancestors moved, how they hunted, how they carried food, and eventually, how they communicated. This era laid the biological and behavioral groundwork for everything to come. Fire, tools, art, language, science, and space exploration. The journey to modern humanity did not begin in ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia. It began here, in the muddy forests and dry plains of ancient Africa. Final thoughts. So next time you look at your hands, think about how many generations it took to evolve fingers that can type, sculpt, and create. Next time you walk, remember that this ability began millions of years ago, with beings like Lucy taking their first upright steps. We are not separate from this past. We are the result of it. And as we look toward the future, AI, space travel, digital immortality, let's not forget where it all began. A few small, upright walking primates, struggling to survive on the edge of the unknown.